The 6-month emergency fund rule. Every personal finance guru swears by it. Save 6 months of expenses, put it somewhere safe, and sleep well at night. It's not wrong, it's just not written for us. Because as NRIs in the UAE, we have variables that completely change the math. You could be dangerously underprepared when things go sideways. Hello fellow Arbab, it's time to boss your money. My name's Kenneth and I've been working in audit and finance for almost 2 decades now, and I've seen a lot of high earners around me struggle. Not because they didn't make enough money, but because they weren't prepared for the unexpected. Today we'll cover everything from what an emergency fund actually is, how to calculate the right amount for your specific situation, where to park it, and most importantly, why the standard 6-month rule is a much bigger problem for NRIs in the UAE than most people realize. Use the chapter markers below if you need to, but fair warning, the stuff in the middle is where the juicy bits are, the subtle caveats and nuances. You might not want to miss that. If you're old enough to watch this video, you already know life has a way of draining your wallet when you least expect it. Could be a 20 dirham flat tire on the way to work, could be a 100,000 dirham medical bill for a parent back home. These are not things you can budget for in advance. So we need to set aside money specifically for them. That is your emergency fund. Simple enough. The general rule of thumb goes like this. Calculate your monthly expense and multiply that by 6. That's your emergency fund. The idea being that if you lose your job today, you can support yourself and your family financially until you can find a new job. Pay rent, food, school fees, all of it without a salary coming in for 6 months. But there are some twists to the theory. If you're not the only earning member of the household, the chances of both of you losing your jobs at the exact same time are extremely unlikely. So you probably only need a smaller amount to complement the now single income coming in. Then there is ILOE, Involuntary Loss of Employment Insurance, which is now mandatory for all employed residents in the UAE. Basically an insurance that pays out if you lose your job, that reduces this risk even further. And if you're like me, my dependents, my home, and myself are all insured. So the usual suspects, medical emergencies, house repairs, are largely covered. So does that mean I need little to no emergency funds? Not so fast. Now let me be clear, we all hope none of this happens, but it does happen and we have to be ready. Unless you have a golden visa, losing your employment starts a countdown clock on your legal right to be in this country. You're not just job hunting, you're racing against a deadline. I know people who had to leave and re-enter on visit visa just to keep interviewing. That costs money. Or you have to go back home to search and suddenly you're not even in the room when opportunities come up. Now let's take an instance where things go really sideways. Months pass, ILOE is paid out, emergency fund is running low. You decide it's time to pack up and head back to India. Maybe open that little tea shop you've always talked about. Sounds peaceful, right? Bam! Suddenly you're looking at shipping your belongings, flights home for the whole family, excess baggage fees, breaking your tenancy contract early, and somehow the landlord finds 17 creative reasons to keep most of your security deposit. Can't forget the chocolates and dates for all the aunties and uncles. It adds up fast. Plus, the UAE job market can be slow. Depending on your seniority and field, finding the right role here takes time. After 16 rounds of interview, they will get back to you. And you can't just take anything. A wrong move at your level sets you back years. And unlike back home, you can't quietly take a temporary role while you look for something better. Now, if you are the primary financial support for your parents or family, and most of us are, an emergency here does not suspend those obligations. The money still needs to go. School fees don't stop either. Kids in private schools in Dubai, those fees keep coming whether you're employed or not. Mid-year withdrawal is not even a real option. And don't get me started on the school bus fees. And it's not just the big stuff. Emergency funds come in all shapes and sizes. Dental work that your insurance barely covers, optical, pet medical bills, car breakdown, a broken phone or laptop that you literally need for work, a long-term injury that stops you from earning, and honestly, I could go on and on. Every single person watching this has had at least one expense this year that they did not see coming. And the worst one, when times are bad, they tend to be bad all at once. And if you don't have enough liquid funds and multiple things hit you in the same period, where do you go? I'll tell you where: credit cards and personal loans. And once you go down that rabbit hole, trust me, it's a never-ending spiral. Okay, take a breath. I said all that not to scare you, but to give you a realistic picture of our situation, not some generic rule written for someone with unemployment benefits and a public healthcare system. Here's my recommended approach, and yes, it is phased. Phase 1, base camp. Pause extra debt repayments. Pause investing. Cut the wants spending. Go aggressive until you have just 1 month of expenses saved. That's your base. Then we move on to phase 2, build the buffer. Keep investing paused for now, but allow yourself a little spending. Mental health matters, just don't be stupid about it. Split your monthly savings between debt repayments and building your emergency reserves. Target 3 months if you are a dual income household and 6 months if you are a single income household. And finally, we have phase 3, staying the course. Once you hit that target, you are now free to invest. But keep putting a small slice quietly in the background into your emergency fund. Let it keep building inch by inch. Here's why this approach beats the traditional one-shot method. Let's say your monthly expenses are 10,000 dirhams. Tradition says save 60,000 and forget about it. But what if one massive emergency blows past that 60,000 dirhams? What if multiple smaller ones hit back to back and you can't rebuild? What if your fund isn't growing to keep pace with inflation? What if, you have triplets? The point is, don't stop contributing to it. Just adjust how much based on where you are. And here's the bonus. One day the markets have crashed and you've quietly built a mountain in the background without even realizing it. Now you have capital ready to deploy if you choose to, when everyone else is panic selling. And at that level, you're not restricted to savings accounts anymore. You can look at debt funds, money market funds, or bonds on IBKR, and that's a whole different video. Look, for emergency funds, you need to keep it simple. Don't chase returns. This is not an investment. I personally recommend 3 options. 1. If your salary is over 10,000 dirhams and you can move your salary to this bank, or you can maintain a balance of above 50,000 dirhams, you're looking at 5 to 6.25% per annum with Mashreq Neo Plus saving account. Take it while it lasts. Option 2 is the ADCB Millionaire Destiny Savings account or the Emirates Islamic Kunuz account. The returns might not be 5% or more, but you might win $1 million. And if you do, you can thank me later. Option 3 is national bonds. Now this is slightly less liquid. It can take a day or two to access. So I would combine this with one of the other accounts that I just mentioned. So at least some funds are available to you instantly. You can expect around 4% per annum and it's government backed. Solid option. Look, the 6-month rule isn't wrong. It's just not written for us. We have visa clocks, repatriation costs, family obligations, and no safety net catching us if we fall. So build your fund with all that in mind. Watch this video next to see how I structure my full portfolio, including my emergency funds, or watch this to learn more about IBKR. Listen, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and found some value. We are very close to the 10K sub mark and your support genuinely means a lot. Yalla Arbab, now go boss your money.